This Sunday is the 30th Sunday in Ordinary Time Year B. The first reading this Sunday is from the prophet Jeremiah. We spoke about the book of Jeremiah, the longest book in the Bible, on the 16th Sunday of Ordinary Time this year. This Sunday's first reading is a joyful reading from that part of Jeremiah where God dictates to the prophet a message of hope for the Jewish people at a time of exile. A promise that God would bring them all together again. There is a word in the first reading that might not be familiar. It is the word Ephraim. God dictates to Jeremiah, "I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn son." Ephraim was the second-born son of Joseph, who you might remember was the eldest son of Jacob, the man that God named Israel. Ephraim became the founding father of a northern tribe of Jewish people. And at the time of Jeremiah, many of those people had been taken into exile by the Assyrians to the north. God's reference to Ephraim is intended to mean that all the tribes of Israel, including the northerners, would be reunited. The second reading this Sunday is from the letter to the Hebrews. This Sunday we hear the writer say that Jesus was a priest like Melchizedek, maybe an unfamiliar word. Melchizedek is first referred to in the book of Genesis. In that book we hear that Melchizedek was king of Salem, which might have meant Jerusalem, not the city in Massachusetts. But Melchizedek was also a priest who brought out bread and wine and blessed Abraham, saying, "Blessed be Abraham by God Most High, maker of heaven and earth." The gospel this Sunday is from Mark. Jesus leaves Jericho with his disciples and a large crowd. Jericho is a town in what is now known as the West Bank, north of the interesting Dead Sea that we spoke about last Sunday. Jericho is one of the oldest cities in the world. There were people building in Jericho 10,000 years before Jesus, possibly before the invention of agriculture. Sitting on the side of the road as Jesus left Jericho was a man named Bar Timaeus. Bar is a Jewish Babylonian Aramaic word that means son. So for example, bar mitzvah literally means son of commandment. So Bar Timaeus means son of Timaeus. We have no idea who Timaeus was. He's not mentioned anywhere else in the Bible. But being father of Bartimaeus is probably enough of an accolade for one lifetime. Anyway, Bartimaeus was blind, and he called out to Jesus for help. He called out, "Son of David, have pity on me." Jesus stopped. The whole crowd must have stopped. Mary was a descendant of David, the shepherd and musician who is traditionally believed to have become king after killing Goliath perhaps about 1,000 years before Jesus. On the 16th Sunday of Ordinary Time this year, we heard in the book of Jeremiah an example of several Jewish prophecies that the Messiah would be a descendant of David. And as we heard on the fourth Sunday of Advent this year, when the angel Gabriel told Mary that she would have a son, Gabriel told her that she must name the baby Jesus, and that God would give him the throne of his ancestor David. When Bartimaeus calls out to Jesus, "Son of David," this is the first time that anyone refers to Jesus by that title in the Gospel of Mark. In fact, this is the only time that anyone specifically refers to Jesus by this special title in the entire book of Mark. This blind man, Bartimaeus, could see the Spirit of Jesus clearly. But through his faith, his vision is also restored, and he follows Jesus along the road.